Thank you, Northwestern faculty and staff, students, and everybody in the audience. It's an honor to be able to speak to you about issues that matter most to me, especially to my dad in the audience over there, recording. All in front of this bird. So please forgive me if I get overwhelmed, and I pray for the strength to speak. I don't necessarily want to talk about issues, though. I want to talk about an event. Specifically, the last conversation that Dr. King had with his close friend, Harry Belafonte, the Jamaican-American Calypso King, or King of Calypso music. Because during this conversation, Dr. King said something that was pretty puzzling. He said, "I've come across something that disturbs me deeply. We have fought hard and long for integration, as I believe that we should have, and I know that we will win. But I've come to believe that we are integrating into a burning house." 50 years later, Dr. King remains as prophetic as ever. The siege that white supremacists have laid upon our government today is so strong, I would not be surprised to see Dr. King rise from the grave and take to shutting down the streets again. Stranger things haven't really happened to our country in the last few years. And stranger things are on its way. So with the full weight of this political moment, as we stay gathered here in memory of the most famous pastor in our country's history, and as we sit with the mourning that comes with the sudden losses of great figures, and on the 75th anniversary of the liberation at Auschwitz, it is only appropriate that I carry on Dr. King's legacy and tradition and use spiritual rhetoric to talk about the state of our nation, our burning nation, and our grand roles in eradicating the flames. I ask that the atheists please humor me this dramatic flourish of mine. I can promise to make it at least a little bit more nuanced. Because religion has unleashed demons upon me and my loved ones. The Christianity that compelled Dr. King to spread the gospel of freedom to Birmingham is now being used to trap children in cages, start wars, keep lovers from the same bed, and keep me from using the bathroom. And with all the fervor that once spread the benevolence of love, President Trump now spreads flames across the world. And he does it in the name of good old Christian America. But my decade as a Christian taught me something different. At least in theory, it was a white Baptist church. It taught me that every time religion is used to draw lines to keep people out, God is with the people on the other side of that line. And although I'm pretty happy to have God on my side, because he makes for perfectly peaceful company, there are greater issues at hand in our nation than just my peace. Issues that Dr. King warned us about when he said, what affects one directly affects all indirectly. And with that, he left us a warning that unless we wish to burn in America's flames, these flames of rage and violence, we must do what we can to extinguish them. On first glance, as a law student, it might seem that I am uniquely able to help quell these flames, but the law's ability to heal the nation is deceptive at best. And in reality, it often confuses us from acting out of our hearts. Our hearts, the place in which, for those who believe, resides Jesus and Krishna, Allah and God, the Divine Mother, the Buddha. For those who don't believe, the heart is in which rests the rhythm and the beat of harmony and unity itself. But I have felt what studying the law has done to me. I felt it turn me hesitant, morally confused, subservient not to strength, which I have no problems with, but to power. I have seen my classmates beat their heads senseless trying to conjure some logic out of our country's cruelties. Surely there must be some sense to treating our black neighborhoods like they are war zones. Surely some sense in murdering innocent villagers across the world. Some sense to deprive the poor while we live in an abundance so large it has gone stale. These halls drowned me in reasons, and burdened by them my mind got lost and confused. But my internal struggle with the law only fuels the beast that drove me mad. find solace in my heart. And with this logic of the heart, I realize that it's not just Iranians or immigrants, women of color or queer and trans people who are at risk and victims of Trump's crusades, but indeed those white people too, who are on his side of the line. Because as Trump draws the line closer to people who only look like him, he cuts away more of our world away from us in the name of some rancid nationalism. And all of us who live under the banner of America are now at risk of losing our most precious hearts. Whatever heartbreak happened in his past to make him crave such isolation, I don't know, but it has left him anxious for a violence that threatens us all. And unless you erase Trump's minds and join with us who are excluded, on your deathbed you will find with you neither peace nor God, but only an anxious, lonely heart, the heart of a coward. What the white nationalists have yet to realize is that we are in complex relationships with all, and drawing lines to exclude people is work done only by the insane, never by logical leaders. And as I demand freedom from these lines, I ask you if your plans for the future, your summer plans, will bring you the love that you seek. Because there is a question that looms before us as we look into a future in flames. The same question that Harry Belafonte asked Dr. King, what should we do? And to which Dr. King replied, become the fireman. We are Northwestern students, amongst the most powerful people in the world. But America needs no more powerful cowards. We need strong caretakers. And to be the strongest, we must stand in the logic of our hearts, or in the genius terms of Miss Burke, in empowermental empathy, when faced down by the nationalistic power and might of our brutal leaders. We can do this. I've seen in my classmates and how we care for each other and uplift one another. Most of us are simply confused as to how to fight this fight. And so I just beg you to realize that we cannot wage it within the law, because the heart cannot be written, cannot be read, but only felt, trusted, and sacrificed for. Yet, for reasons that frustrate me, my words might seem extreme to some of you all. But are my words wrong? Are the morals of love, caring, and courage that you were taught as a child, or indeed that some of you teach your own children, or plan on doing so, extreme? Please note I am not at all advocating for revolt. I am advocating for the way of Lakota patriot and indigenous freedom fighter Russell Means, who in his speech, "For America to live, Europe must die," said this: "It is the way that knows that humans do not have the right to degrade Mother Earth, that there are forces beyond anything that the European mind has conceived of, and that humans must be in harmony with all relations, or the relations will eventually eliminate the disharmony." And his advice for his people's youth, the students, was this: beware of coming to believe that the white world now offers us solutions to the problems that it has confronted us with. A culture which regularly confuses resistance with revolt has nothing of value to offer you and nothing to give you as a way of life. European traditions have long since lost all touch with reality, if they ever had been in touch with it at all. Feel sorry for them who follow it, but remain comfortable with who you are. This is a war not only for our nation's soul, but indeed for our own. So wherever you go, fight with your heart and find out what that means for you, and resist the tyranny of logic. Not only because it is natural to do so, but because otherwise, when your head descends from the clouds of logic, you will find yourselves burning in the flames that we have thus far only heard about in the news. Thank you, and God bless.